There are a number of new things about all the new Windows phones coming out, but one thing people haven't really discussed is how fluid the apps run in the new Windows Phone hardware. So thanks to the new GPU primarily and upgraded CPUs, the apps actually start to run smoother. So as you can see, panning around here is really smooth in the Fandango app, and scrolling up and down is really fluid. It feels just like a native application on Windows Phone. However, on old hardware, the HD7 here, the scrolling is not nearly as fluid. There's some choppiness in it, and it just doesn't look as good. Like when you scroll there and let go, it's noticeably choppy, whereas here it's perfectly fluid. This difference isn't noticed on all applications, but it is noticed on a number of them. Like Engadget really shows it off well. So Engadget on the old hardware was a little choppy when you scroll, and it's noticeably choppy. It's not visually pleasing, and it doesn't feel that great. But on new hardware, it's perfect. It feels like it's integrated right with the phone. Everything's fluid and feels great. Also, the Xbox Live Hub with the animated character really shows off the difference between new hardware and old. So, when you pan over there, it's noticeably different here with the animations, how fluid they are. The character on old hardware is pretty choppy, but the character on new hardware runs at a pretty smooth frame rate. You really begin to see why this is when you run WP Bench, which shows off how powerful the new GPU is. If you run a speed test on both of the devices, you'll see the difference. In terms of CPU, the HTC Radar and the HD7 are pretty similar since they both have a 1.0 GHz processor, but the Radar has a newer processor which makes it a little faster. And then here in these visual tests here with the GPU is where it really shines. So this is what I believe makes the difference in that fluidity of the scrolling. You'll see that the HD7 has a really low ranking of about 18 frames per second, whereas the Radar has a ranking of about 37 frames per second. A huge difference. And overall it gives it a score of 79 versus 57. So if the front-facing camera and all the other new features about Windows Phone doesn't convince you to buy one of the new smartphones, then maybe the fluidity of the apps in the new smartphones will help you buy one. Stay tuned to WM Power User for all the latest news.